This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Niamh Kavanagh.
And I'm Gerard Farrelly.
And you're listening to Agony Rants.
Hello, Niamh.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
I am absolutely devastated to be here, Niamh. I have to say, this is the worst thing that's happened to me in days.
What?
I have had 4 hours sleep.
Oh, okay. That's fair
4
enough.
hours sleep, Niamh.
You look
4
well on it.
hours.
I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
Is this where I tell
Niamh.
you that I had like 12 hours straight?
Yeah, I guess so, That's the sort of thing you would do. I was in
it's a
Cork
lie.
last night.
As a menopausal woman, I haven't had a full night's sleep for years. But yay!
I was in Cork last night, right?
Oh, okay.
I was in Cork. I've started previews of my new show. Niamh, I've never been under so much pressure in my life.
Oh, why?
Just the stress of it.
A new show.
See, here's the thing that happens, right?
It's exciting though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is exciting. I was down with my friend Chris Kent, right? Because he's doing a new show as well.
Yeah.
I always used to do previews myself.
So you felt extra pressure?
No, it's actually way better doing them with somebody else.
So it...
Because you realise I'm not an absolute insane crazy person.
Oh, like so, a problem shared.
A problem shared is
a problem shared.
Yeah, is a problem shared. Like, so he was in the exact same boat. So we were kind of in the dressing room going, what are we doing with our lives? This is ridiculous.
I love it.
But yeah, and there was a fog on the way back.
Oh no.
So I was driving through fog for 3 hours.
Oh God.
I swear to God.
Up the Cork Road?
Yeah.
You see, I've done that actually in the old Cork Road, which would have taken you 3 hours to drive
I had
anyway.
to take the old Cork Road because the M8 was closed.
Oh no. So you came up all the towns.
Why did they close the motorway in the middle of the night?
Well, because only Egypt's like us are on.
Oh my God.
It's better than closing it during the day.
And I become a right Karen. Like I do. Like
Do
the
you?
motorway's closed down. I'm like, who do I contact? Who do I contact?
Who
It's
needs to
like
get out of
11
their
at night.
bed?
I'm ringing the guards. I'm ringing the guards.
and is that, do you ring anyone?
No, I
'Cause you're
don't. No, I'm just like,
being
this is ridiculous. This is just so stupid. And then what I do is I miss the signs that are for the diversion because I'm so annoyed.
Oh,
and then I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where I am.
Driving to Limerick.
But you know what I've never understood is how you can do as much driving as I do and still have the most appalling sense of direction.
You have, yeah.
I've shocking sense of direction and a really bad geography.
Yeah, no, but I'm going to tell you, that is something you're born with. Because I have a friend the same.
Okay.
And she absolutely, I don't know how she gets around without me. I have no idea. She never remembers anywhere we've been or where we're going. And she's fairly competent. She seems to be able to make her way to places. But I definitely
It's
think
Google Maps. Like we're
GPS,
so reliant
we're
on
very
it.
reliant on. I have a good sense of direction, but only if I know I have to pay attention to it. Years ago, I would have known the way to everywhere. And not only that, I would have sat down with my dad before
And gone through the map.
and said to him, how do I get here? Because, you know, in the early stages of driving, there was no GPS for me, but, you know, you'd had the map maybe, but you'd had to usually describe it in relation to where the local pub was, because I used to gig in all those pubs. But actually, do you know, it is a funny thing. I'm terrible at geography. If you're in a pub quiz with me and there's a geography question, do not even look at me, right?
You see,
But I have a great sense of direction.
I think the problem is that geography, they don't teach you the things that you need to know.
Like what?
Because when I dropped geography after the junior circus, I hated geography and I
Yeah.
hated my geography teacher. He was an absolute prick,
Okay.
right? I hated the man. But we were learning about rocks.
I know.
Like, this is igneous, this is sedimentary. It's like, I've been diverted off the M8 in the middle of the night, but I know that's a sedimentary rock. But I swear to God, if I could find a back road, that'd be really helpful. If you're looking for an oxbow lake, I'll be able to point it out on the map. But like, I can't get home.
And in the fog, you have to drive slow.
Yeah, you have to drive really,
And then
really
you get
slow.
annoyed with people who forget to turn off their fog lights or who don't turn on their fog lights.
You see,
My husband lives in constant conversation with people about whether they have their fog lights on or not.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know where my fog lights are in my car.
Oh my God.
Because I was driving home and I was like, that's something I should have learned.
Yeah. You're not driving in a fog with full lights on, are you?
Like I said, I haven't a clue.
Okay.
I just get into the car, the lights come on if I need them. I don't know. I don't know what the
You
beans
have
are.
people for
I don't know
everything.
what the settings are.
You
It just...
You have people for everything.
No, I can't cloud my head with too much information, Niamh. If I was to learn how my fog lights work, something that I really needed would fall out of my head. Like,
What,
I'd
like-
forget how to...
What? Shave?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like this morning?
You'd hear that I
Or
was dead.
did you
You'd
mean
hear that I
shave?
was dead because I tried to shave and I cut my throat.
Oh my God. I thought only women at a certain age felt like that. You know, it is a tough one, I have to say. Driving home in the fog, it takes all your focus. Like, it really does.
I know, yeah.
And you're
I was
already
knackered.
tired.
Yeah.
And not only that, you had the euphoric, nervous release of a new show. It's
was
not
yeah,
even like,
yeah.
oh, I know, I totally understand. I've driven that road so many times late at night.
I know, and it's such a boring road.
It is.
And
No-
then I pulled in like about an hour and a half into it, and I was like, I need to sleep now. I do need to sleep, just like 10 minutes. But then you're watching the clock going, oh, it's getting later and later, going to bed.
And Neve was going to be waiting for me in the morning.
Neve will be waiting for me at 9 o'clock in the morning, but I was afraid I would sleep it out actually. But Boots punched me in the face at 5:45 because she wanted her food. She's like, food, please,
Up.
food, please, human.
We know Boots is the boss.
Boots was sick. I was very worried about Boots.
Oh no, what happened
Yeah,
with Boots?
she had like a vomiting bug. Yeah, I thought she was going to die. I had her wrapped in a blanket and everything. And like she was sleeping in between us in the bed, wrapped in this blanket. And then all of a sudden, 3 o'clock in the morning, she rallied.
I'm going to say.
And she
there's two
started
things I'm
jumping
gonna
over
say
me,
to
hit me in
that.
the face.
I totally understand it, but even when my children had vomiting bugs, they never lay in my bed, right? Because
Well, Neve,
the concept of vomiting, we were usually
that's the sort of parent you were, Neve.
we
When
were
they cut the
usually
cord, they cut the
downstairs
cord.
holding them, right? But I didn't need the extra job of cleaning a fucking mattress up.
I went to London.
Did you?
Yeah, I was in London there a week ago because I had to do a photo shoot. That was...
Was it dungarees?
No, it wasn't Dungarees, Neve. It was one of those photo shoots that it wasn't my idea. They're not my bag of like comedians doing funny, stupid things. And now I have to say, when I see those photographs, I'm always allergic to them, right? But the PR person was like, this is what works. This is what I was like, okay, fine, I'll trust you. I'll do. So I went and I was doing like a rubber duck and all of this stuff, right? But here was the problem. I was going through and I was bringing everything in hand luggage.
Oh.
So I was going through, and in my hand luggage, I had like loads of stuff. Like I had one of those, those things that waiters have, like the dome things. What are they called? A cloche? Is that what they're called?
Oh yeah, cloche.
Yeah, I had one of them. I had a rubber duck. I had
You were trying to explain what kind of soiree you were going to. Is that
yeah, like there was literally, I swear to God, like if you were looking at my case, it was like he's clearly on his way to an Eyes Wide Shut party. Like this is bananas. Like I had all of these like big lollipops. So I went through and they opened my case at security. Of course they did.
Oh my God.
Of course they did.
And you're in that situation, you feel you have to explain.
No, I don't need to explain, but they wanted explanations. I was like, I'm not saying anything. It's just you decide to open my case, so you just work your way through it. They swabbed absolutely everything. I'd say they swabbed the rubber duck, I would say 15 times. And
Did he feel violated?
every single time it squeaked. Every single time. And they just kept going, squeaking at me as if like waiting for me to explain. I was like, I'm not explaining. I'm just not explaining.
No, there is
like,
no explanation that's
no.
going to fit this.
I couldn't bring this big plate that they needed. It was just too big. Like I was like, I'll buy one over there because it's the sort of thing you'll always get in a charity shop.
Oh yeah.
So I had a little bit of a Google on Google Maps, and there was loads of charity shops around where we were doing the shoot. Yeah. So I was like, fine. I went into a charity shop, and I swear to God, it was the most stressful transaction I've ever had in my life, right?
Why?
I went in, I found exactly what I needed.
Okay.
Exactly what I needed. It was £7,
Oh.
right? £7. I was like, that's fine.
Perfect.
I went up to the till, and I'd say I was 15 minutes at the till trying to pay for this. This is going to sound like I'm making it up, but I'm 100% not making it up.
Why was it so long?
The 7 button on the till wasn't working.
So why did they not do 650 plus 50?
I suggested, and this is 100% true, on my life, this is the conversation I had.
Okay.
I said, could you not just ring up $6.99? Like, because at this point now I was going, I need to get out of here. Like, 15 minutes now. And I said, can you just like ring up $6.99 even? Would that do? And she said, there's no manager here to authorise a discount, right? And I was like, okay. Okay. And I said, well, can you ring up 8? I'll pay £8, just £8. And she said, okay. And then whatever she was doing on the till, it was like I would pay £7 for the plate and £1 as a donation, right, to get it to 8. So she rang up a donation of £1, and then realised she needed the 7 button. I was like, why is this so difficult? Like, this is...
But surely at that point she should have said, I can put a 6 in now. For the
Yeah.
But no, she couldn't.
Oh, no, she couldn't do it because it had to be
Because
done...
obviously it had to be
whatever
the
certain-
£7 pay.
I have no idea why. But what ended up happening was, now at this point I was like,
Okay.
you know me and me patience.
I know.
At this point I was,
you full
I was
Karen?
starting to lose the rag now at this
Were you
point,
full
right?
Karen?
Because like I ended up leaving the plate, not buying the plate for €7, but having to pay the £1 donation that she'd already rang up. I swear to God, I was pulling my case out of the shop going,
What just happened?
How did this happen?
What just happened in my life?
Niamh, we have a follow-up.
Oh, good. Thank God.
I got in touch some time ago because my son had been appearing in chaotic TikTok videos. I don't know if you remember this one.
I do.
This was a brilliant one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is from Caroline in inverted commas.
Yeah.
She sent this a little while ago, actually. I didn't see it. It
She
was
didn't know
in
how to
messages.
tell the mother.
Yeah, what was happening was her son was friends with somebody whose
Yeah.
mother had a TikTok account and she was posting videos of the kids.
And the kids didn't like it.
And definitely Caroline's son wasn't into it.
Yeah.
And, but this woman was quite, like, she's a bit of a head. She's a bit chaotic.
We know them.
Yeah, we know the type.
Yeah.
And Caroline was just like, I need to address this.
Okay.
So this was very, very tricky. I went over to chat to her and I couldn't bring it up. I ended up visiting her 3 times over a period of a month to the point where it felt like I was becoming one of her friends.
Oh my God.
This is awful.
Caroline, this is hilarious.
This is awful.
So now you're befriending this woman.
So you're basically befriending this woman. So she went over to try and address this with her
And couldn't
3
get it.
times and all of a sudden they're buddies. The 3rd time I was there, I finally brought up the subject of her TikTok videos and I swear to God, within 10 minutes she had the phone out and was making me do this weird pointy thing like a dance that she put captions on afterwards.
Did you go in a video herself?
Caroline.
What?
I thought my husband was going to die laughing when I told him. Interestingly, we told our son just to say, I don't want to be in your videos, and it worked.
Oh, good.
I wish I had given myself that advice before I ended up as our co-star. I thought that would give you both a laugh. Love your show and think you should bring out a range of brownies. I always want one when I listen to you.
Caroline.
Caroline.
I love this. And actually now I want to see that video.
I know, yeah. I think she sent us a link in the original email to the woman's TikTok.
Oh.
So it might be on there. We could actually we'll go and we'll have a look.
I'd love
Now,
to
obviously,
see
we
it.
won't post to Caroline.
No,
don't worry.
no,
but
don't
we,
worry about it, no,
but we
no.
will
Oh my God,
dip in
that's
ourselves.
so funny.
You see, that's something I would do. That is absolutely something I would do. That I
You'd
would be
be over
trying to
there.
address it, and I was like, "Come on now, come on, girl, bring it up, count to 10, and then just say what you have to say." And I wouldn't do it. I've been in that situation so many
You
times.
need to bring me.
Yeah, or I just need to go in and go. You see, what happens to me is I either pussyfoot around for way too long.
Yeah, and it gets past the point where you can say it.
Yeah, or I go in too hard. That's what happens. There's no middle ground with me.
Do you prepare? Do you have the whole story before you go in?
Yeah.
Do you have conversation? Because we spend way too
Yeah.
much on our own in the cars.
Oh yeah, I have the conversation in the
I
car on
have
the way.
so many conversations.
Oh my God, the amount of times I have had.
Have you solved world peace? I'm nearly sure you have in the car.
No, but I've definitely I've fixed my life. Like
Yeah.
I've made a list of all the things I need to do, and then I do absolutely none of them.
I know. It's
Or
amazing.
or even when you're driving to a gig and there's been problems. You know, like sometimes when you're driving to a gig and there was problems with like posters or there
Oh,
was
yeah. Yeah.
and you're like you go down, you're like, oh, there we go, posters aren't up, or
I'm gonna
or
sort
this was
that
done,
out.
and you're like, well, I'm gonna have a conversation as soon as I walk in.
Hi.
And they're like, hi, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well done, girl. There we go.
That's it.
2 hours you talk to yourself in the car.
I know, but because you've had the full rant.
Yeah, you've had the full
Or
rant.
the worst thing is when they open the door and you go, fuck you and your posters.
Yeah. Where's the poster?
The lesson learned is you have empowered your son to say no.
Exactly. I have to say, I'm impressed by the son. I'm impressed by
very
my son.
impressed.
I actually don't know how your son has come out so well rounded with such a chaotic mother. And the neck of Caroline, because she was so judgmental of that mother in the previous letter.
And then see she's pointy dancing.
It's the end of Glamour Hammer. Niamh, enough is enough. It's done. It's done. I have 3 shows left.
I miss it already.
Will be, I will be in PSLC, the Portmarnock Sports and Leisure Centre. I know.
Is that beside
I'm
Tomangos?
surprised too. I'm surprised too.
Is that beside Tomangos where the gang goes?
Yeah, it could be Tomangos.
Okay.
The PSLC, so I'm sure I'll be doing my show and there'll be people coming in looking for Pilates. But anyway,
Love it.
in Portmarnock, I will be there on the 27th of April, and then I will be in Strabane on the 8th of May.
Oh.
And then I will be in the Civic on the 8th of June.
Just randomly.
Yeah, Strabane, I think it's the 8th of May. It's May anyway, Strabane.
Fabulous.
If you want to buy tickets, it's GoRoadFairly.com or through the link on my Instagram bio. And that's it, done. I will say though, my Edinburgh show is just going to sell.
I know. It'll be amazing.
Sure, it'll be brilliant. We are pausing for a moment to remind you that Agony Rants is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network. If you would like to support the show, you could do so by paying as little as €5 per month. And in return for that, you will get bonus content from us and all of the shows in the Head Stuff Podcast Network. Our bonus content, Niamh?
Our bonus content is Vintage Rants, and we love it.
We love Vintage Rants.
It's so fun. It's so fun because we basically take old problems and solve them and then totally ridicule the people who wrote.
So we would love you to join us for that. It comes out every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you will also get all of the bonus content from all of the other shows on the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
But more importantly, what about Double Love?
Double Love. That is the show that we're cross-promoting. And that is a show, it's a podcast about Sweet Valley High. Did you read Sweet Valley High?
No, I kind of missed that out. I was slightly too old when they came out, but my sister was obsessed.
With Sweet Valley, I loved Sweet
Love
Valley High,
it,
the
yeah.
TV show.
Yeah.
Because in their bonus content, they review the TV show.
Oh.
But on the main feed, they review the books. And it's Karen and Anna, and they're absolutely hilarious. Have a little
Love
listen to the
this.
clip.
This is how it's always been.
Double Love is a podcast in which we explore the strange and terrifying world of
Sweet Valley High, book by book. Join me, Anna Carey,
And me, Karen Moynihan.
as we revisit one of the maddest series of books ever written or ghostwritten.
If you ever read about Elizabeth and Jessica, the perfect blonde Wakefield twins, then you might enjoy listening to us absolutely tearing them to shreds. Affectionately, of course.
Of course. And even if you didn't, there's still plenty of drama, kidnapping, stolen boyfriends, and school dances to entertain you.
Find us on the Head Stuff Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcasts.
We have a problem.
We do have many problems. Okay, so I'm going to read the first problem.
Okay, far away.
So, hi, Niamh and Garode. Firstly, I want to say I absolutely love both of you so much and absolutely love the pod. Now, those emphases are actually written in the text, so I felt that I put the right emphasis there.
Fantastic.
The perspective you both bring to people's problems is always so enlightening and also hilarious. Please keep doing what you're doing despite it not being the biggest moneymaker. Yes, Garode. I am paying subscriber. Now, as you can, he's a paying subscriber to Head Stuff Plus, and Agony Rants receives 100% of my support. Winky face. Love that. This is my problem. I have worked for a company for just over 4 years now, and over that time I've gotten 3 promotions and have generally been quite successful. I learned lots, gaining amazing experience, grown in confidence, and met some brilliant people. It's a big company, so there are a lot of benefits, flexibility, good salary, and the usual perks that the big companies can provide. The business itself and industry is not something that I particularly care about, nor is it something that makes a positive difference in the world. It has been more so the opportunity to gain experience and the career progression it has provided me. That has driven me over the 4 years. However, I can't help but feel like I'm wasting my life, and this feeling has been nagging at me for about a year now. On paper, I have nothing to complain about. I have a very good life and I'm very grateful for that. I'm in the process of buying a house with my partner. We both have stable and well-paying jobs. I have amazing family and friends, and most importantly, we're all healthy. So I'm well aware that this will not seem like an actual problem for a lot of people, but it's something that has weighed on my mind heavily for about a year now and has got progressively worse. It started to really get me down recently and affect my mood and sleep. The fundamental problem, as I see it, is I'm spending 40 plus hours a week doing something that I don't really care about. I have a strong urge to get out of corporate life and do something a bit more meaningful. I crave the freedom of working for myself and the purpose of doing something that positively benefits people and society. I just don't know where to start or how to pull away from a very good company and career trajectory. My worst fear is reaching retirement age and feeling like I've wasted my life. As two people who pursue their passions, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you so much in advance, Daisy, fake name Obs.
Okay.
Now, we've talked about this kind of thing
We've
before.
talked about this a lot, yeah.
But and it is a problem that lots of people have.
Yeah, totally. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. Now, the one thing I will say, Daisy, is
Get the mortgage first.
stick a pin on this until you've got the house locked down.
Yeah.
Because believe me, you can pursue your passions all you want.
But makes it
But the money's thin on the ground.
really hard. No, but it's
Yeah.
not even if you spark on the thing that's going to pay you money. The thing is, you have to get the mortgage first, because
Yeah, you have
even
to.
on paper, if you're earning loads of money, the hoops
Yeah, when
you
you're
have to go.
self-employed, it's
Oh
a
my
different
God,
ballgame. It
it's-
just is. And you're better off to just, while you're in that corporate world, get all of that locked down.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Once you have a mortgage, like, then the world's your oyster, really.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
Yes, you have to pay it back.
You have to earn enough money to pay it back. But
But
it's
that's
probably
a
better.
different ball game
Yeah.
than getting a mortgage. It's much like, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it's much easier to pay a mortgage than it is to get one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Much easier.
Now, so that's aside. That's the practical thing, right?
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying. I think it's really brilliant the way you've said, I'm spending 40 plus hours a week doing something I don't really care about. And that is a problem for people, right? And it is a lot of time. It's a bit like...
It is a lot of time.
It's a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
like
yeah,
buying
absolutely.
a cheap mattress and going to, that's all right, I got a cheap mattress. But the problem is you spend quite like a third of your life in the mattress. So you should be investing
It should be a
in
good
it.
one. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you should be investing your time in something better. To me, that makes total sense. Get the mortgage, but more importantly, make a plan. Don't just gut wrench it.
I know, yeah.
This is
See,
easy.
that's the problem, like.
I think you need to find what your passion is outside and maybe, test it out and still work, right? And the reason for this is if you have something outside of the space that ignites you, it will eventually maybe take the place of the work that you're doing. It's easy to say, I need to throw off the shackles of life,
Yeah.
but unless you know what that is, you see, we followed passions that we had, but we worked until we couldn't do both.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way, like that. I can't stress that enough. That's the way to do it. Like the amount of people, because I worked in an industry, I worked in IT, and that was an industry that went through a couple of downturns while I was working in it. So the amount of people I know that took redundancy packages and left saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm never going to do this again. And then 6 or 7 months later, ended up back in a job almost identical to the one they left. And that's no bad thing because, people have to work.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to like completely change your life and to completely change your purpose, actually, is what you're talking about there.
You have to have clear goals.
You have to have a bit of a goal.
Yeah. I mean, you may have. Maybe there's something in there that you want to do.
Like when I talk to friends, I sometimes think that people feel I'm very judgmental of people that work in corporate worlds because I do what I do. I'm totally not. Like if you are a paper pusher, you have the dullest job in the world. If that is a job that gets you out the door at 4:30 or 5 o'clock and you don't have to think about it again, and your life is your own, there's an awful lot to be said for that.
Oh my God. Listen, there's a basic, one of my tenets, you might say, things that I like to think about is, I say this to my kids all the time, basically you live to work or you work to live, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's work involved in it regardless. So you need to find a passion maybe outside of work for a while that might ignite you a bit. And maybe if you wanted to volunteer somewhere, you say you want to have some sort of, thing. I think there's ways to doing that, and then maybe eventually lead to it. I mean, maybe eventually the key is to do the same kind of job in an environment with a company that is a bit more environmentally friendly or whatever it is that you're looking for here to get purpose. But I think the reality is you could find elements of purpose outside of your work while still your job, because it's all very well to say, I'd like to do this, that, and the other. But when you get used to having a certain amount of money, it's really difficult to move into, I'm not going to have money.
The only thing, I mean, that is
that's
difficult.
really
but the
difficult.
only thing I will say about that, right? Well, two things, right? One, I think you should consider, once you've got the mortgage locked down, is consider reducing your hours. You might be able to go part-time.
Yeah.
Because I always assumed that when you went part-time, it was just, like if you were working 4 days a week or 3 days a week, then it was just like, a 20% or a 40% knock off what
No,
you
it's
take
not.
home. But it's a lot less.
Yeah, because of the way that you pay tax.
Yeah.
And actually, you can leave space in your life for other things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And when I left my job in 2015, now I had
remember.
bought my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a mortgage. I assumed I was in for
A hard life.
a very hard life. And now, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were lean years.
And a
Believe
very
me,
steep learning
a
curve.
very steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But I didn't want for anything.
No.
And I don't mean that now in...
How much is enough? That's really important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I think what happened was when I knew there was money coming in each month, I kind of was just, I spent it. I just spent it, and I did things, and I went for fancy meals, and and it's not that I didn't do that now. I guess I just didn't need to be spending
No?
as much as I was spending.
Yeah.
That said, now I am terrible with money. I am not good with money, and I didn't necessarily make a conscious effort to be better with money once I left the job. It just kind of happened naturally.
Yeah, and then the other thing, well, if you don't have it for a start, and then the other thing that happens is you're not in the environments where you're spending money the same way.
No, you're not. You're really not.
You're in a slightly different thing. But I will say this, right? There's a tendency with people to say, you've done obviously 4 years, you've done well in it because you've got 3 promotions. That's very good. You're getting lots of experience. Maybe where you're sitting now is that you're slightly dissatisfied with the fact that maybe there's no real progression now for a little bit, and who knows exactly why. But the thing I get here is people often think that by going freelance or by changing something drastically in their life, things are going to be drastically fabulous. That's not actually the way that works.
No.
Sometimes the key is to find some way of finding meaning in what you're doing within the job that you're at, or else finding something outside. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction to I'm unhappy, so this must be it.
Well, I think what happens is social media has made us all think that we're all supposed to be changing the world.
Yeah, and building log cabins.
Of course, you want to. You don't want to look back in your life and feel like you've wasted it. And of course, if you're doing something for that amount of time, you want it to be meaningful.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But I think that what's the most important bit in all of this is that you're kind of happy and content. And there is that feeling that if you have 2 hours off, you should be writing a chapter of your great novel, or you should be, doing something creative, or you should be.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, just sitting down and watching a couple of episodes of something is, if that's what makes you content and that's what makes you happy, that is just as valid
Yeah.
as doing any of those other creative things. Because here's the thing that people forget, and this is the bit that I didn't understand at all, and
Okay.
it took me
A little
years
time.
to
Okay,
realise
come
this.
on then.
Like, it took me, I'd say, about 6 years to realise this. The people that have these passions and become successful at their passion, they don't become successful at their passion because they're passionate.
No.
That is the great lie, the great fallacy.
Yeah.
People that make a successful business out of their passion are people that are good at business,
Yeah.
not that are good at their passion.
Yes, right.
That is the fundamental mistake, and I wish somebody had told me this.
Yeah, as I always say, the big thing about show business is that there's a business.
It's the business.
People
and you
forget
can-
about the
The
business.
show can be as good as you want, but if no fucker sees it,
There can be all shows with there being no
that
business.
is exactly it.
Yeah.
And I am the luckiest person in the world because I am phenomenally bad at the business end of it. I am phenomenally bad at pushing myself or emailing and asking for things, or I'm really, really bad at it. And I was doing shows and shows and shows, and they were great. Nobody was seeing them. And then I happened to support Joanne, and loads of people saw me. That's
Wow.
how that happened. That is nothing to do with me putting myself out there. Like what
There's
you,
a pair of us in it, really.
yeah,
isn't
that is. It's just nothing to do with that.
Quite often,
Because
if you're creative, you don't necessarily have the business end of things. That can
you
often
really
happen.
don't. And I like even things like I did a business studies degree. Like that's the thing. But the idea of actually putting yourself into the place of the product you are selling
Yeah.
is so difficult.
Yeah,
and I
like-
find it's so difficult to do.
I know.
I
But to be fair, Daisy, you know, you're probably not looking to take on the world. I mean, if you're looking to come out and gig and do comedy, let us know. But the reality is, what you're looking to do is to do something meaningful in your life. I totally get that. And
Yeah.
maybe the job that you're doing is not as exciting as you wanted it to be, or maybe fulfilling, and it's coming between you and your sleep, as I see. And that's quite difficult. And it is difficult if something's
it's
pulling down on
completely,
you.
yeah.
You know, and so maybe it's about flipping things a little bit in your head and going, right, give myself a time frame.
Yeah.
So say for the next year, I'm going to concentrate. I'm just going to do my job during the day. Think about what it is you want to do. Give yourself a time frame, and it makes it a bit easier to lift your mood and to sleep better.
Yeah,
because
and-
you're doing something about it.
And once you've got the house locked down,
Oh, yeah,
because here's
yeah.
the thing: if you're buying a house, you're
Get
going to
the mortgage.
find you're going to need carpets, you're going to need
Yeah, no,
you
get
know,
the mortgage.
all of those
Honestly,
things.
but if you do nothing else, get the mortgage first.
But then what you can do is look into maybe part-time
Yeah.
or do that thing. I remember I talked about this before. I remember someone telling me to do this and it was a great idea. The ultimate goal is number 10
Yeah,
and then work out what 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Sure.
1 are.
make a plan.
And then make a plan.
Yeah. No, seriously, that's the way forward. So if you're feeling you're working towards something, or even discovering, you know, what you might be good at or what you might like, you know, this is a great opportunity. But in the meantime, you can keep your job, do whatever you need to do. If a part-time option comes up, great, do that. Discover what that is before you make the big move. Because if you just make a big move to make the grand gesture to see if, believe me, you won't be sleeping much.
Talk to people that do the jobs that you kind of would like to do. Because
Yeah.
I do think that particularly in those industries where people are, if something is a little bit more worthy, let's say, for want of a better
it's not
word.
quite what you think it's going to be.
I do think that people are more willing to share information and tell their story and how they got into it.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Let's know how you get on.
Love it.
We have another problem. High Neveroid.
Neveroid.
Neveroid. I'm incorporating both your names so there can be no fights about pecking order. There we go.
Oh, well, and we will.
The billing conflict.
Actually, Garode mostly failed.
Conduct yourself, Garode. You're both wonderful.
Ah!
I have started letters to you many times and my heart is totally weary at this stage, so here I go.
Oh.
I have 2 daughters, both adults. The younger daughter made me a granny 3 years ago.
Oh.
I adore my granddaughter with every pore of my soul. There are no words. However, she was born during COVID late 2020. Understandably, my daughter was extremely cautious during her pregnancy. I totally understand that. I saw, and I means myself, her granddad, and her uncle, who was 22-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the child for 15 minutes when she was a week old.
Oh, dear.
I have given her a bath once. I have never, nor have any of us, minded her overnight in her own home or in our place for longer than a few hours. Always with Mammy with her. She, our daughter, has made it very clear to not just drop in. We have to ring or text to organise a visit. I was recently told it's not a free-for-all and we can't just presume it suits. I know all of that. She, the daughter, has utterly changed since the birth. She used to be hilarious, chatterbox, loving, bubbly, one out of the 3 siblings, but she is now a new person. Dare I say, a monster. My heart is broken with all of this. I haven't seen my granddaughter for my last 2 birthdays. Christmas is just a few hours with me on the eve, which didn't happen last year. Don't ask me why. I just don't understand. I've given them all the space they need, deserve, and have asked for. The daddy in the situation is a lovely chap. They're together years and all seems to be well. I don't know him well enough to try and discuss this with him separately. Yes, even after 16 years of being with my daughter. I have always respected their space, I swear. This is no reason for the exclusion from most of their lives. They live 10 minutes drive away and I'm happy to help in any way at all or not. I simply don't know where my fun-loving, happy daughter went. It's like time turned to night.
Day.
It's like day turned to night. Black to white. Most conversations, usually text, as I don't see them much, are stilted and I tread very carefully with the subjects we discuss. The only thing I can think of is that maybe this is fallout from my late mum. She was over-involved in my life, didn't recognise boundaries for any family member, and this changed our once good relationship in later years. She died a year before my granddaughter was born. I dread to think what her comments would have been with all of this. I'm regularly in tears thinking of the gorgeous little dote of a cutie I cannot see. She refers to me as she when she sees me. I know she doesn't fully grasp that I am her granny. I'm pretty sure this is the same for her grandparents on his side, but they're not anything like as close as our family are. My extended family have never met her. There have been invites to family dinners, the usual anniversaries or Christmas, but she always refuses. Please suggest something you think would work. I'm clinging to a sliver of hope that one day she'll wake up and see how much heartache this is causing and that her actions are depriving so many of a relationship we all deserve. Granddaughter, grandparents, extended families. All of the stuff that so many take for granted. I'll sign off. I'm losing my sanity over this, and so I distract myself with your rants or other music and podcasts. Thanks to you both from the bottom of my heart. I love your shows. You send such wonderful vibes out to us all. Fantastic stuff. Hugs and love to you both. Call me Sally.
Oh my gosh.
That's very sad.
It is very sad.
That is very, very sad.
There's a lot going on there, isn't there, really? In the nicest way, in the sense of she has this daughter who's all involved in the family. Now she's with the boyfriend a long time, so I'm assuming that the boyfriend and the daughter were involved in the family during that time.
Yes.
So COVID happens 4 years ago. We all know that was a change. I also know that people who had children during that time had a really tough time.
Yeah. My sister had a baby during that time,
really
and it was
tough.
Very tough.
And tough for the kids, because the kids...
Yeah.
My friend's a teacher, and she says now they're starting to come through, these children who had no social interaction with anyone beyond the couple of people they saw, basically, for a couple of years. It's really difficult, right?
Yeah.
I suspect that what has happened is between COVID and being pregnant, which she must have been ultra worried.
I know,
because
yeah,
she was pregnant during her COVID at a very scary time for the basics, right? When you're only looking after yourself, your hormones are changing.
And bear in mind, 2020. So 2020 was the start of COVID. So she was pregnant at the start, and that was the scary time.
For the really scary time, right? And
that
probably
was the scary
early
time.
Pregnancy, if she had, I don't know when she had the child in 2020. But anyway, the point is she had this child late 2020, so she must have been going through that really scary time, probably hardly able to see people properly, all the things they had to do. And then she had a baby, probably at a time that hardly anybody could see her. Maybe if she was lucky enough, maybe that at the stage she may or may not have had her husband. So many complications. And then for a while after that, then they lived in this
lockdowns.
And the other thing that happens quite often is when you have a baby and you maybe wanted it for a long time and all those lovely things, your body goes into this strange thing and you become... It does change you. It changes you in ways that you don't know is going to happen, because your body changes, your hormone changes and all that. But the other thing is sometimes there's an element of, I'm loath to say the name depression, because quite frankly everybody just puts that down and they immediately think that they're in some... Yeah. It can be something that maybe changes how you look at things and stuff. So she's gone through...
It's a heightened state of awareness, isn't it?
Exactly. And then for a year after I had Tom, say my second child, I didn't fit my skin for a year. I really didn't. I didn't even know how to interact with myself, let alone anybody else. Not because I wasn't coping, not because I wasn't anything else, just because your hormones are all to the left. Maybe at a time where she has only herself and her husband and the child, that maybe you get to like that. Now what happens is you're reacting to that to try and be careful because you want to see your grandchild. And the difficulty with that is now you're creating this thing where there's not a proper conversation happening. And you're afraid to have a conversation, and then she doesn't know how to have the conversation, and there's lots of misunderstandings, and a new rhythm is created, and you don't know how to break the cycle.
Yeah.
So maybe the thing that you need to do is go and have a conversation with somebody separate, properly, about this, because you're clearly very upset.
Yeah.
And there might be a better way of approaching. So you need to, because you might be approaching her and she might be immediately defensive about it, but that's not necessarily on you. Do you understand?
Yeah. I think that you were very clear, and you've clearly given this an awful lot of thought. You're clear what your problems are. Now, the one thing I will say is you have to ring or text to organise a visit. I think that's fair enough.
No, I do. Especially when you have smallies.
I don't think you should be dropping in. Yeah.
Especially smallies.
I really, really don't.
Hard.
I think that's fair enough. And I think that when somebody has kids like that, I think when they say, look, today doesn't suit, I don't think you can take that personally. No. I think that's just today doesn't suit.
And it's a lot. And the other thing I will say, right, is my kids stayed with my parents out of necessity quite a lot of the time because we were away, and also it was good for them to stay with other people and stuff. But the reality is nowadays, not so many people leave their kids unattended with other people. They don't so much. My sister, you know, she decided, so she wouldn't have left her kids with me.
Yeah.
Not because she didn't trust me, you know, but that's how she wanted it and that's how she was going.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be offended
You'd say
by
it would have
that.
battered them.
I would, yeah, absolutely. Neglect would have been the word. But I'm going to say this, right? Maybe you're within your rights to be able to say to her, I'd love to see her more. Would you come over? So maybe not look at it as saying that she always has to be there, because it seems to me like that seems to be the root of the problem. You want the grandchild on your own, but maybe you just want to see her more. So you want to ask your daughter, can you see her more so you can see your granddaughter?
And the thing
actually,
is,
maybe that'll help it.
I think so. And I think as well, once this kid goes to school, because they should be starting school soon.
Oh, yeah. That'll change things
I think that's going to change, because you're going to, you know, they're a little person. You can bring them to the cinema. You can bring them to the zoo. You can do little trips. It's not necessarily just something that comes over and lies in a basket on the couch.
And the other thing then, especially when she starts school and all that, is you can say to your daughter, do you fancy going out just the two of us? You know, this is still your daughter.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where you need to start, to reconnect with your daughter.
I think though a grandparent as well is entitled to say, I would love to have some sort of a routine with this grandchild, because I feel like I'm missing out on having a grandchild.
They are absolutely entitled to say it.
Yeah, I know. You have to be prepared for.
But the point is, if you put that as a proviso, the difficulty is then she might go, that's not happening, and then where do you go from that conversation? It's, you know, it's not an easy thing. You say that your mother was difficult in the sense, as you know, she was a little bit, your relationship went off track with her. Maybe you need to look at why that happened, and try and figure it out. And maybe because that happened, you're being overly sensitive about how you're approaching your daughter. You just don't know really what's going on there.
I do think that if you are being overly sensitive, maybe like, I'm trying to think. Sometimes I find that if I am reluctant to say something, as soon as I say it,
it's fine.
It's actually fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you can approach a conversation with your daughter that is not just like, sometimes in this situation, right, what can happen is you start to be a bit passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Like you start to say things like, oh, sure, I never see you.
Yeah.
Or sure, I never see them.
And it sucks the
sure,
joy
I suppose
out of
it'll be a couple of weeks before I see it again. Oh, well, off you go. You're not having a conversation there.
No.
You're just, what you're doing is it's like little sly digs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And you need to be careful about that, because I do think that is also quite an Irish thing to do.
Oh, I know it is. We can't help ourselves.
A particularly parental thing to do as well.
Listen,
right?
I do it all the time, and sometimes I'm mid-conversation with boys, and I'm thinking I'm being funny, but I'm definitely being sarcastic. And, And just because I've raised them with sarcasm doesn't mean necessarily that it's.
I know, and that they see it as this passive-aggressive dig.
Yeah, and then sometimes I say to them, "That's not what I meant," and other people would think that was funny, and then in my head I'm thinking, "But actually, if my mother was saying that to me, I'd be raging."
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I'm, you don't mean it that way, but the point is, you need to be looking. I think
if you approach them if you approach her with honesty and go, listen, do you know what? I feel like I'm missing out here.
Yeah.
I know that you're cautious, and I know that you're run off your feet, and I know you've got a toddler, and it's not easy, and she was born at a time that was difficult.
And you're a great mother. Be sure to say that.
But just say, I feel like I'm missing out on a grandchild because we don't get to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah. But I think it's really important, Grode, that she reconnects with her daughter first.
Yeah.
I think what's happening here is you're so sure that you want, because it seems like you're not spending any time with either of them.
Now, I'll tell you something else that can happen.
Yeah.
You can get a bit jealous of your parents' relationship with their grandchildren.
Oh yeah, because they get to do whatever they like.
I know. I do go over in the house sometimes and I see like the grandkids there, and I'm like, oh really? Oh, this is what happens now.
Oh,
is
yeah.
it? Oh well, things were different in my day.
I know. I used to come down with my two rockets, right? Because obviously I had two boys, right, full of energy, and I literally pinned them down in a car for 2 hours. And I used to come in the front door and say to my mother, "Open the back door," so they could just run through and do whatever. And my mum used to say to me, I said, "Listen, if you want to survive the night, this is what you do." I said, "Otherwise, do what the hell you like, but be it on your head, right?"
Yeah.
And the children are allowed to have a different relationship with their grandparents. And
Yeah.
the great thing about being a grandparent is you've done all the hard work raising your own children. You should have a right to basically feck up the next generation and have crack.
Exactly. And
You know, and you do enjoy
the
it.
other thing that you can do is as well, what I wouldn't do is, right?
What
And
would
your
you do?
daughter could be a little bit wary of this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to do anything parental
No.
with that grandchild.
It's not
It should
necessary.
be, spoiler, it's treats,
Mm-hmm.
sweets, presents, so that she is really looking forward to see her granny. Because bear in mind, she's getting older now.
Yeah.
She
She can be bought.
Exactly.
Age
If
4,
there's
you can be
one
bought.
thing that an absent uncle knows,
Yeah.
it's that nothing has the appeal of a tenner
I know.
for
I
a
know.
child.
But the thing about it is actually, then the parents, they have rules. They always have rules, and
And it's up to you. You can break those rules.
you can, but
Yeah.
but they always come with the rules. It's kind of
They
funny.
come with the rules, and the other thing that will happen as well is once that child starts school.
Oh yeah.
From what I've seen with my sisters,
Yeah.
that's a time when you think you've had it tough now. Well,
Welcome to the
wait
world.
till you see what happens, because that kid's going to go to school. They're going to pick up every single bug.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be sick. There's going to be like your daughter's going to have to like not work some days, or she's going to need somebody to collect the kid, or
Yeah.
to mind the kid, and she's going to actually want and be grateful of
Yeah.
your help.
Yeah.
So things might be like, dare I say it, I don't think it's idyllic to have a toddler, but she may have her routine, and everything may be slightly controlled
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but that
Oh,
only gets worse.
So, I mean, honestly, I can't even tell you how that all changes your life. And then you're in among the other moms as well, which is another thing. But do you know what? Actually, I think this conversation is between you and your daughter. I really do believe that you should be reconnecting with your daughter. It will automatically lead you into connecting with your grandchild. I really do believe that.
And I would have a couple of cracks at this. Like the first time you have this conversation with your daughter, she could be like, oh, for God's sake, here, this is the last thing I need,
Yeah.
And I would just go, okay, we'll park it. But I'd have another go
Yeah.
if
and
things don't change.
you know,
because this is worth fighting for, I think.
genuinely, the thing to say is, I love you, and I really want to spend time with you and my granddaughter. And maybe if you progress that time, then maybe I'd like to see you more.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the grandchild then, because I think there's also a thing as the daughter that you're trying to become the mother, and that's kind of
Yeah.
difficult. And it is difficult if you feel other people are trying to be the mother, right?
Yes.
But
So no judgment.
no, but actually telling her that you want to see her more, well, obviously if she doesn't leave the child behind, great.
Yeah.
You will by default see your grandchild, and over time they will get used to that rhythm. And while you're there, spend time with your daughter as well as your granddaughter.
Whatever about the situation with children, because I don't have them,
Yeah.
so I haven't been in this situation, but I can tell you what doesn't work.
Yeah.
What absolutely doesn't work. What won't work is you getting annoyed because you haven't seen them.
Yeah. No, definitely don't do that.
Don't do that, and don't stew in your own juices.
Yeah.
And then when they do arrive, you're short with them because you haven't seen them in ages, and it's up to them to work out what's wrong. Because you're shooting yourself in the foot there.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough because you're kind of in your rights to feel that way.
Oh yeah, you completely are. And the other thing is, and this may not be the case at all, but if it's a case of her not contacting you, and you're expecting to be contacted, the
Yeah.
phone works the other way as well.
Just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And time
And
goes by.
sometimes what's nice is a phone call or a text that doesn't ask anything of
Yeah,
you.
that's what I mean. Yeah, just have
Yeah,
that conversation.
it's just how are you doing? Just thinking of you there. Hope all's good.
Yeah,
Because you don't know what's going on with them either.
No,
Like
you
the kid
don't.
could be a distraction for your daughter.
yeah. You could. It
Yeah.
sounds like she's a wee bit left of centre. She was
And I
preg-
wouldn't do this as a big emotional
No.
purge either. I would
No.
just like incremental. How are you? Thinking of you. Just
Small
inch
things.
towards. And you can have then a couple of conversations where you say, I want to talk about this. I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a,
But wait for a while.
you've become a monster. All of
No,
that. You need to
no.
keep that to yourself.
It's hard though. I think in a way you need to flip that a little bit in your head, even if she is misbehaving. right?
Yeah.
You know, when she was young and she was misbehaving, how did you deal with that? It's kind of a similar idea. You need to reward the good and ignore the bad. So you need to kind of almost encourage the good behavior like you would have when they were young. You know, it's kind of an important thing. It's really getting your relationship back on with your daughter. I promise you that's the way back in.
Okay, that has been, I'm sure, so helpful.
Ah.
I'm sure by now Sally is like, it's fixed.
I'd say.
It's fixed, yeah. They
I'd
planned
say.
Christmas together.
Yeah.
Let us know how you get on, Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it
mean,
all works out.
I'm
and
really
I think it
sad.
will, though.
Yeah, no, I will. I think it will too. But I'm really sad that you're feeling that way. That's really hard.
And the other thing about this as well is
Yeah.
it's not going to be an overnight fix.
No.
This is going to be incremental.
Yeah, I know.
So you have to just be, like, I know you're being patient, but you have to just be a little bit more patient.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
But also, be a bit, be patient, but be taking steps.
Yeah.
We will chat to you next week. It's been wonderful to talk to you.
Oh, I love it.
Please subscribe to Head Stuff Plus. We would love that. You will get vintage rants either last week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
And there is merch. If you would like to support us, you can buy merch. We have totes. We have
Yeah.
mugs.
You can buy a lot of totes and then make a really fancy dress out of them. It'd be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, buy a lot of totes. With thousands of them. We will chat to you next week. Bye.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.